All right, my friends, welcome back to the broadcast. My name is Justus Knight. It starts here, a story you're familiar with. Keep hoping for Trump-Zelensky call. The former U.S. president, of course, already rejecting that invitation. I'll read his quote in just a minute, but this is part of a much bigger narrative that culminated yesterday in what may now put the very future of Zelensky in question. Huge story. I call it Game of Drones because it is literally a Game of Thrones saga. Trump publicly turned down a previous invitation from Zelensky to visit, explaining that it would be inappropriate to go to Ukraine while they are currently dealing with U.S. President Joe Biden. The former president announced he would not want to create a conflict of interest, but it's Zelensky who created the conflict of interest. Did we not forget just a little bit over a week ago, Zelensky said he was unclear whether Trump would be good or bad for Ukraine. Does that simply mean he does not know if Trump would continue the faucet of funding that has been going on? More than likely, in our opinion, that is the case. A publication here, I don't know if you're familiar with it, you may not be. English interpretation is Strana. Meanwhile, Strana sources close to the office of the president report that one of the main issues now in relations between Bankova and the United States is the organization of negotiations between Zelensky and Donald Trump. Trump now actually controls, through the Republican majority, the House of Representatives of the U.S. Congress, which is blocking the allocation of funds to Ukraine. It's all about the green things, baby, right? Bankova understands this and therefore is trying to organize a direct conversation between Trump and Zelensky. But it's who released that information that is going to take the focus of today's broadcast, resulting in a huge explosion and implosion that leaves the entire Ukrainian administration now in question. Trump impeachment. White House withheld Ukraine aid just after Zelensky call again. Why would Trump help? And this actually all relates back, if you can believe it, to the Trump impeachment and the White House withholding Ukrainian aid just after Zelensky call. You remember that story. The transcript shows Mr. Trump asked Mr. Zelensky to do us a favor and investigate Joe Biden, currently a frontrunner to the Democratic candidate in the 2020 White House race. And that story and Hunter Biden and his work for Burisma, the Ukrainian energy company, has come full circle in what just occurred. The court sent People's Deputy Dubinsky to a pre-trial detention center for 60 days on suspicion of treason, and this story is far larger than the mainstream media will cover or anyone will disclose to you, because it has demolished the inner circle of Zelensky. Ukraine arrests officials on treason charges over Giuliani effort against Hunter Biden. As part of the pretrial investigation, it was documented that the suspect was spreading fakes about the higher military and political leadership of the country, but they're not telling you everything that was stated. They are not telling you the full story of what he actually disclosed, adding that he spreads fakes about the alleged interference of the Ukrainian high-ranking officials. Is that truly what he said? Or did he make a much more treasonous charge, which he did? This all transpiring immediately after Zelensky tries to set up a call with Trump where he summons him. All of a sudden, the arrests begin. 60 days detention. And it leads to the much bigger story we're going to be covering here today. Haven't been a restricted republic yet. There's a very special Thanksgiving offer by using discount code HOLIDAY2023. You got that? HOLIDAY 2023. Guess what you're going to get? You're going to get $2.99 for 1 year. That's right. Use discount code HOLIDAY2023. Very limited time offer. These coupons will be gone quickly. Do it today before they expire. We're going to put up Holiday 2023. You got it for $2.99 a month for 1 year. This is one of the biggest offers we ever put out there, plus 14 days for free. Use it now because, again, these coupons will run out fast. Holiday 2023. New subscribers only. Get to restrictedrepublic.com. From Trump to pre-trial detention center, the origins of the case of Dubinsky arrested on suspicion of treason. Hang in there. This story is absolutely incredible. Giuliani claims Ukrainian company paid Joe Biden $900,000 In lobbying fees, you remember all this? Biden, his son, and his brother had a 30-year-long scam to make money, millions selling his public office, Giuliani told the host Sean Hannity at the time. But again, this story comes full circle in this arrest. Tonight, the court sent MP Alexander Dubinsky to a pretrial detention center for 2 months. Dubinsky is accused of participating in a criminal group led by the ex-People's Deputy, Derkach, which we're going to be talking about a lot today, which, according to investigators, published tapes of conversations between Petro Poroshenko and Joe Biden. You remember those tapes? I'll play them here.
Assuming that there is a new government and a new prosecutor general, I am prepared to do a public signing of the commitment for the $1 billion.
I especially ask him to resign.
Well, those were extremely harmful recordings, weren't they? Who were they released by? Andrei Derkach. And now suddenly the associates of Derkach are being arrested one by one. Ex-prosecutor general Viktor Shokin confirmed this version in a statement. He claimed that he was fired on Biden's orders because prosecutors were investigating the case against Zelensky. Naturally, Trump could not ignore such a high-profile topic and began to persistently ask Zelensky to proceed with the corruption case involving Biden's son. There was a split in Zelensky's entourage. Kolomoisky advocated accommodating Trump's wishes. And by the way, he now also resides in jail. Going forward, the same line was promoted by people who were close to Kolomoisky. The same line was promoted by people who were close to Kolomoisky, including Derkach and Dubinsky. The same line was promoted by people who were close to Kolomoisky, who now sits in jail, including Derkach, who they can't find, and Dubinsky, who was just put in jail for 60 days. I hope this starts to thread things up a little bit for you. At the same time, the then Prosecutor General and the Secretary of National Security and Defense Counsel, Alexander Danylyuk, I probably mispronounced that, who were close to Western structures, opposed assistance to Trump. Ultimately, Zelensky hesitated for some time, but in the end decided to take a neutral position, not to help Trump or his opponents, by not investigating, though he actually, in my opinion, only helped Trump's opponents, and he wonders why now Trump won't take his phone call. Because it was a phone call initially that led to Trump's impeachment. But now let's take these two gentlemen, Kolomoisky and Dubinsky. Dubinsky, again, just sentenced to 60 days. Moreover, the signals from Washington were quite clear way back when the administration came in the office. At the beginning of 2021, U.S. sanctions were introduced against Dubinsky and Kolomoisky, and now they both are in prison. Appears sides have been picked. Dubinsky was then expelled from the Servant of the People's faction, and Kolomoisky began to lose influence and eventually ended up, well, right there. His attorney is now trying to get him out due to his health, but that may have resulted in some information slipping out. Derkach, allegedly working for Russian military intelligence, now comes into this storyline. Did Derkach and Dubinsky work for Russian intelligence services? It can be definitely said they, together with Kolomoisky, worked in favor of Trump against Biden, as well as against structures associated with the U.S. Democratic Party in Ukraine, which they branded as Soros. Thought that'd be very intriguing to you. So we have two opposing parties, the Zelensky clan, which is in support of Biden from what this article is stating, and the Dubinsky and Derkach clan that was in support of Trump, two of which are now in jail, just like Trump, under continual prosecution, and the other party in power, much like Biden, is also in power. You see how these two stories tie so closely together. But then why would have Zelensky try to arrange a meeting with Trump? Because what's more important to Zelensky than his own power is the money. And without the money, because Biden has not gotten his plan approved yet, he knows that Trump could be the only one to get Congress to release it. Now, that doesn't say much for his moral fortitude, But nonetheless, that has never been a question in our minds if it existed or not. If the suspicion against Dubinsky of working for the Russian Special Services is based only on the recent appeared testimony of Derkach's assistant, who has been in custody for a long time, as Dubinsky himself claims, then of course big questions arise to this version. But there's big questions around all of this. If I was Trump, I would never have taken that meeting. I would have laughed it off. Would never have happened, because there's $100 billion hanging in the balance. Zelensky is showing his desperation in attempting to get that money, or else he would never have even attempted to call Trump or set up a meeting, call it what you will. So rather, he summons Biden, who goes out and visits and still does not have the $100 billion foreign aid package approved, causing Ukraine a great strain. And it is rifting the inner circle. Ukraine's top commander says war has hit a stalemate. In a candid assessment, General Z, because I can never pronounce his name, said no beautiful breakthrough was imminent and that breaking the deadlock could require advances in technological warfare. Zelensky immediately thereafter rebuking his general. Now remember, he's arrested the opposition. He is countering, rebuking his general. The inner circle is demolished. The presidential office said General Z's declaration that a war is a stalemate was helpful to the Russians. Boy, whenever you disagree or someone disagrees with you, they are colluding with Russia. Again, doesn't this all sound all too familiar? But this Telegram page gives a little bit more of a story. Vladimir Zelensky is in a serious conflict with senior Ukrainian military officers due to the failure of the Ukrainian armed forces counter-offensive. And now we get closer to the truth. It's hard to get more money and support if your effort is failing. President Zelensky's speech is becoming more and more emotional due to the criticism he receives, he emphasized. He clarified that the position of the commander-in-chief of the armed forces of Ukraine, General Z, often radically diverges from Zelensky's position. He calls the state of affairs an abnormal situation. At the same time, he emphasizes that he agrees with General Z's words that the military conflict with Russia has reached a dead end. So what do you do? Well, you arrest your political opposition. At least that's what he has done now, detained for 60 days. And you go deeper into the saga of Game of Drones. I know, tongue-in-cheek, but there's a real message here. So why did this arrest occur? What information was given that Zelensky so staunchly disagreed with? Well, it all circles back to this man. Again, I am publicly addressing journalist Tucker Carlson, who will not be afraid to cover the topic of political persecution of the only politician and former journalist in Ukraine who openly spoke about corruption of the country's senior officials and the facts of theft of U.S. financial assistance through the Ministry of Defense of Ukraine, in which deputies of the Servant of the People's Party and officials of the Office of the President are involved. Who stated that? Dubinsky. This man, now politically detained. Now, the real president of Ukraine, named Yermak, is in the United States. Oh, the saga gets much thicker now, doesn't it? Trying to convince the American government that there is no corruption in Ukraine, and to blame the theft committed by him and those from his circle on the scheming of Kremlin agents. Russia, Russia, Russia. He is always trying to arrange a telephone conversation between Zelensky and Trump in order to gain support. There's who leaked the information, who now goes to prison. I am the only one talking about this corruption, which is supported by numerous facts and journalistic investigations, and it is for this that they want me to put me in jail on yet another trumped-up charges. I guess that is also tongue-in-cheek. By joining our forces, we'll be able to reveal to the world the truth about the gang of swindlers who captured Ukraine, reveal the ugly truth that Yermak and Zelensky and their associates are trying to hide. You see, the story was far deeper. There's a lot more moving parts than you may realize, and of course, they dub Dubinsky a Russian agent, and now they gave him the call sign of Pinocchio. Of course they did. So let's summarize. Large-scale new house cleaning of entire general staff is reportedly announced by Zelensky's side. Major media campaigns from both sides push urgent narrative of stalemate. Zelensky implies the war will not be lost. Zelensky suddenly cancels presidential election, likely sussing the plan to promote his challenger, who has now been announced, who is actually allegedly running Ukraine. Money spigot has been turned off for the foreseeable future, with no realistic plans on the horizon. Ukraine now catastrophically losing on virtually every front of the war, set to soon lose another major strategic critical city. Many influential voices now openly pushing a ceasefire. And then it is rumored that the CIA director, the Grim Reaper of information, is about to head to Ukraine. And when he does that, it only happens on eve of some major pivot or escalation. Diplomats and foreign secretaries are sent to discuss options or negotiate. CIA directors are sent to deliver final threats of action. And who did Blinken just meet with? Not Zelensky. Ukrainian presidential office head Yermak. The story's changed. Zelensky's days appear to now be numbered. There's Yermak, so you're more familiar with who you may be hearing in the mainstream media, who was propagating the story that Yermak may be the one to succeed Zelensky. The ties that bind the story all together are beyond imagination. I hope someone, and I wasn't sure if anyone's ever actually explained it to you, so I wanted to dig in deeper to Ukraine, all the moving parts, all Zelensky's current maneuvers, and the joke that was the call to Trump. Unless simply Zelensky is that terrified that he's not going to get any more money, so he's trying to kowtow to the one man who would have no interest in ever speaking with him. Of course, I guess you would just call him a Russian agent afterwards, wouldn't you? It's what we do here in the U.S. Why would it be any different there? I love you all. Can't thank you enough for being here today. I'm going to kick over to the next video now. You guys are going to love this one, by the way. This one is hilarious because the three-ring circus of the U.S. government kicked off in full force. We had fights. That's right. We had threats of fights. We had kidney punches. And we had someone call someone on the congressional floor a smurf. I can't make this up. You guys have to get in there, watch it. You guys have to get over there, please. With that Thanksgiving discount code, it just became a whole lot cheaper with 14 days for free. Also, I forgot to mention earlier, and this would make Lisa feel absolutely phenomenal today. If you haven't been to We're Forked Up, I'll put a link to our most recent video. I hope you'll go there today. It's something that's just a little bit more lighthearted for us as we continue to cover what is nowadays simply the doom and gloom of today's mainstream headlines. This is our breaking away from that. We want to share those experiences with you. Doesn't cost anything. Just click on the link above, subscribe, and put some comments in the videos. She loves reading them. She loves hearing your reviews of what we're doing. It means the world to her, and I know it would make her feel a whole lot better, and I was remiss when I missed that earlier. Sorry about that. I'll see you over there. I love you all. Till next time, Godspeed and God bless. Justus Knight, signing out.